Hello and welcome to Crypto Weeklies. In this video, we are going to analyze Chainlink and its token Link. None of the content is financial advice. Right now, this is the Chainlink price in terms of the time-weighted average price, which is this blue line, and based on how the price is uh, reacting with respect to the time-weighted average price, these risk levels are color-coded, where the warmer colors are associated with overheated zone and the cooler colors such as purple, blue, are cool down, or whenever the price essentially is below or very close to the blue line, that's when the accumulation phase for Link existed from May 2022 till September 2023. None of the content financial advice. Let's get started. The price of Link is in an uptrend. It's currently at around about $24. It has broken out of this the 20-week simple moving average and the 21-week exponential moving average resistances back in early July. Then it went back. The price action went and tested that 20-week averages as when the price came crashing down and held these averages as support. And since then, essentially early August, one and a half month ago, the price has been in a upward swing. You can see this is the if we look at Link's price action from that July 2023 low, it has been in a series of higher highs and higher low trajectory, especially as it relates to the Fibonacci levels, or the Fib levels drawn from the 2021 high to the 2023 lows. The key levels are being hit at every major rally. The first rally in November 2023 went to the 0.23 Fib level at around $16. Then in March 2024, the 0.382 Fib level was reached when the price came close to $23. In December 2024, the price went slightly above the 0.5 Fib level at around $28. Now, in potentially, if we were to extrapolate that ascension on that trend line, and let's say towards the end of September or early to mid October, the price is forecasted again, if this trend line were to hold true, price could be somewhere between $40 and $42. That's the 0.786 Fib level. If on the other hand, if we go back to the time weighted average price risk based analysis, right now the time weighted average price risk is nowhere close to the risk that was evident from June 2019 till essentially May 2021, when the price was consistently in that 0.9 risk and above. Right now the risk in terms of time weighted average price is at around 0.6. When it flips, when and if it flips above 0.8, that's when at this stage of the bull run, one could predict or interpret that the price has been overheated. If we look at the current price with respect to the DCA model as it relates to the polynomial regression based fair value for Link, the fair value itself is in an upswing as evidenced by the series of higher highs and higher lows. The fair value for Link per this polynomial regression based model trained on the daily price action of Link since 2017. So lots of data points over here. And if using this non-linear approach of estimating what the fair value of a asset is especially useful for altcoins which have a lot of volatility, where the fair value or the asset goes in a prolonged downturn, where the accumulation zone usually close enough to this dotted green line, which is the one standard deviation residual drawn to the downside to the fair value, that helps identify how undervalued a particular asset is. And the opposite of that is the peak regression based dotted red line, the two standard deviation residual to the upside, where if the price goes to close enough to this dotted red line, the price is said to be in a euphoria mode, where more likely than not the price will come cooling off before putting a potential market cycle high. Right now, the two standard deviation residual drawn, two standard deviation residual based valuation for Link is at around $100. So theoretically speaking, $100 Link is still within the realms of possibility if we were to look at the risk levels at some key level in a tabular format of what if scenario. If let's say price goes to the 0.63 risk, or between 0.6 and 0.7 risk, like it went in March at 0.63 and in December 0.67, the price forecasted for this regression based model is between $84 and about $96. So that's the slightly optimistic case. Any action above this 0.5 risk is considered at this stage of the bull run slightly more optimistic. The realistic case or scenario is between that 0.4 and 0.6, between $61 and $84. So those are the scenarios if we were to look for the risk levels and the corresponding price action, especially as it relates to previous local peaks. Again, there are no guarantees. So for example, in 2018, 2019, that's when the risk level was at 1. In 2021 market cycle peak, the risk levels per the regression model, again, as it relates to how far has the price gone away from the regression based fair value. In May 2021, the risk level at the peak was at around 0.88. So it wouldn't be too surprising if this time around, if the risk levels at the peak is somewhere between 0.4 and 0.8, especially closer to that 0.4 and 0.7, let's say, if we account for some diminishing peaks at the risk in terms of the risk at the peak. So that makes the $61 to about $84 slightly more compelling of a case than between let's say anything above 0.8 at this stage of the bull run. Coming to the 20-week simple moving average price based risk, those risk levels again have a higher chance of going to let's say between 0.8 and 1, or between 80% risk or 100% risk. That is because in 2019 and in 2020 and in 2021, 3 times Link went in terms of that risk levels at the peak were higher than 0.9. This time around in 2024, the price went to about 0.8 risk level. If it were to do something similar for this 20-week simple moving average base model, price could be somewhere between $37 and $42, which kind of coincides beautifully with that 0.786. So if there is no new all-time high for Link, the confluent zone for price action is between slightly under that 0.786 at around $38 to $42 per the 20-week simple moving average price model, as well as the Fibonacci levels and higher high structure. If we were to go to the machine learning model, again, this uses AI techniques and old time series forecasting techniques such as seasonal ARIMA, LSTM, and XGBoost. This is trained at a weekly average price of Link since 2017. If we were to again, as this model is already trained till price action till today, if we were to forecast using this model, what could happen to Link in the next 6 months, and again have it a cutoff point at around end of December 2025, without a major euphoria in the asset class, the one standard deviation non-euphoria weekly average price forecasted is at around $35. So for context, for this week, again, as the price of Link is right now at around $24.38, although that's the average, that's the current high price, the weekly average is at around $23.85 for this week, which will end in on September 21st. So for context, if let's say the weekly average price for December 2025 is $35, the actual weekly high could be somewhere close to that, between $38 and $42. Again, coming back to that zone of confluence between that point, close to that 0.786. If on the other hand, if there is a 2 standard deviation euphoria bull run ahead of us, the peak forecasted by that model with 95 percentile confidence between $27 for this week, and as we move closer to the year, close to that $50 target, which would be slightly higher than the May 2021 weekly average price at the peak. That means per this euphoria case, the price could be slightly close to that $60 if we were to account for 10 to 20% volatility to the upside as it relates to the as it relates to the week and weekly averages. The 3 standard deviation case, which is a blow-off top scenario where the peak is within 99.7% chance that the peak is within these bounds, that level is at around $65 to $67 at a weekly average price, adding 10 to 20% to that valuation. The peak for Link could be close to that $80 target. If we were to look for the 1.618, that also coincides at around $82 in terms of the Fibonacci levels. If there is a new all-time high, the first level in terms of the Fibonacci levels, as well as the regression based valuation and the machine learning based three standard deviation peak at around $70 roughly speaking, with that 10-20% candle body candle body related assumptions, gets you to that $80 target for Link. And then last but not the least, as a confluence of several risk-based models, again that's more like a conservative case for Link, another as the regression risk, the time weighted average price risk, and the SMA risk weighted together, comes the weighted risk for Link is at around 0.35. If it were to go to that 0.95 target, the bull run peak for Link could be close to that $66. And with that, I would like to conclude. Hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please give a like and subscribe, and hope to see you again tomorrow. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.